4 minutes until showtime. 3 minutes until showtime. 2 minutes until showtime. 1 minute until showtime. 'Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Louisiana to join the conversation. It's honestly we're not going to have much conversation. It'll be fun conversation. But if you want to call in, 914-803-4131, 914-803-4131, or just leave your comments in the chat. We already had one doozy from Jeff. Shout outs to Jeff for his, apparently you ain't supposed to get naked at a gender reveal party. Who knew? LOL. So leave your comments in the chat, or leave your comments after the show in the YouTube thread, just in case you don't happen to be watching live. You could always leave your comments, questions, concerns also over at Liberal Dan Radio over on Twitter and Facebook.com/Liberal Dan as well. Hey, Paddywhack. Hope you're having a good evening. Shouts out to the Mod Squad, Jolie and Aaron, two of our Patreons as well. This is kind of a short month, I guess, for the show. I mean, we've had 3 shows already because we had the Philip Bittner show on Thursday night, as well as last week's podcast. So I guess we've had 4 shows so far. Well, I guess you get 4 shows this month, but you're not getting one next week because I'll be on my cruise. And then the week after that, the Wednesday is March 1st. So I won't have another show for 2 weeks. But it's all good. It's all good in the hood. I'll be having a good time. Hopefully I won't catch COVID again on this ship, as opposed to the last one. Maybe it's just Norwegian that was problematic. I don't know. What's up, Suzanne? How are you doing? Thank you for joining. Human F Being, of course, Jeff, Paddywhack. I miss anybody so far? Doesn't look like it. So, like, tonight, I just felt like doing a fun show. I mean, I'm wearing my No Malarkey shirt, so, I mean, technically, politics could always raise its ugly head. If it happens, it happens. We're just going to kind of go for the flow for the next hour or so. Go with the flow, I guess, for the next hour or so. And if something political comes up, sure, it's fine. We can do that. However, I'm gonna try and keep today light. I don't know. I just didn't really feel like getting too heavy this week when it comes to the issues. There's lots of stuff that we could talk about, and I'm sure most of that stuff that we could talk about will still be here in 2 weeks. We do have a caller on the line. Yes, Bill P. Yes, another cruise. We got ridiculously good deals on some cruises. Like, this one is probably the cheapest of the 3 that we're going on this year. And it doesn't require me to take that much vacation off because we have Mardi Gras off already. So it's one less day, at least one less day that I don't have to worry about taking a vacation day to go on vacation. And it was like, I don't know, maybe like $200-300 for me and Cassie. And then the kids go free plus taxes and fees or whatever. The whole cruise, I think, wound up costing $900 something bucks, maybe $1,200 before, like, you know, shore excursions and everything. We spent a little money on shore excursions, and we bought the drink package. So there's money going in the Carnival beyond just the cheap tickets, but it was cheap tickets, so might as well go. Come on, stow away, let's go. Everybody come on board. That'll be fun if one day we could just do a Liberal Dan Radio cruise. Don't think I'm big enough quite yet to justify that, but it would be awesome to get, like, you know, 100 people coming on the cruise, have some fun, all those shenanigans, etc. Let's see. It's supposed to be a nice weekend. Might go up to the Buddy in a solid white colored hot air balloon. Make sure to wear a parachute just in case you happen to run into any F-16s. We do have a caller on the line. Let's go ahead and hit the caller up. Caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Khalil. I'm calling from Virginia. I've called here before.
What's going on, Khalil? How are you today?
I'm doing okay. I'm going on a trip to Lake Anna in August 2023, and I'm excited.
Where are you going?
And Lake Anna, Virginia.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean,
So what else is up with you? Since we're kind of doing a fun show today, so what else is going on?
I am also, I'm not sure. I do a lot of drawings. I'm hoping I can do some drawings lately.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I like to do is I like to spray paint graffiti, not vandalism, but
right.
like graffiti that is fun. And
right.
Usually it's a message to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like to spray paint on things that are that I'm legally allowed to. I have a board that I bought that someone donated to me where I spray painted on.
Cool. We used to have a guy. There were some people that would like go, go around. We'd have some people doing art in like a place would hired an artist to do some graffiti on their wall. And then we also had in New Orleans this guy who was called the Gray Ghost, who felt that it was his mission to clean up the city, and he would go put gray paints all over, paint over graffiti because he felt that graffiti was ruining the city. And it turns out that he actually graffitied, or he ruined the artwork that somebody else had commissioned to do, and a lot of people were very pissed off about him. He was kind of a cult hero among some. I was like, there's better things to do. If somebody's wants to hire you to paint their wall, or says, hey, yes, please paint my wall, but he went and asked permission. And I was like, some of these things are really good looking and they're not detrimental to the communities at all. It got to the point, there was one, some people think it's a Banksy, and it's a picture of a guy in overalls with gray paint painting over some graffiti. So somebody made graffiti of a guy painting over graffiti, but the place that was done at, they put like plastic covering that graffiti to make sure that the Gray Ghost couldn't cover over the Gray Ghost graffiti. So, we did a tour like in January 2019. We went on a cruise as well, and we went down to Miami, and we did a tour around the city, and there was some really nice looking graffiti. Can be wonderful if it's done, respectfully, and it's always good to have, especially ones that have good messages. Is there any place like we could go to? Have you displayed any of yours online, like on an Instagram account or anything?
I would like to though.
No, you should. And look, if you take some pictures of it, and hey, call in, let us know what it is. I'll be happy to share it out on my Twitter feed or whatever, and share, follow on Instagram and all that other good stuff. So, I'm all for supporting the people who listen to my show. So, you're definitely welcome to let me know, or you can just shoot me a link if you have one to my email address, which is just liberaldanradio@gmail.com. So anyway, anything else you want to add before we move on?
I know, I also am into like old school radios, like a lot of telecommunication things, like old school, like satellite cell phones, and
right.
Old school walkie-talkies and old school intercoms.
Mm-hmm.
Those things fascinate me. Not only the fact that you can talk on them, but the looks of those things.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's some people that there's one that was, I think, a CB radio or something, that if like there's some form where like some modern forms of technology would go away, but like other, like ham radio might be still something that would exist because of how old it is. It might not be affected by some of the things that might affect the newer technology. So I have a few friends that are into like older type of communicating and stuff like that, and they have like a club down here and everything. So
yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you very much, Khalil, for calling in. I look forward to hearing from you again, and hope you have a good one. And probably I won't be back on the air for at least 2 weeks, because I'll be on the ship next week. But again, thank you very much for calling, and I hope you have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Khalil again. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate you. If anybody, Khalil, if you're still listening, make sure to tell everybody that you like Liberal Dan Radio, and you want them to subscribe to him. I'm still trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. I think once I get that, I think I'll have the listenership, the hours listened, so I could finally become monetized. I could finally get YouTube subscriptions, etc., and we can get this ball really rolling. So that's the best way to support the show. Of course, Jolie in the chat shared the link to become a patron. Join the Liberal Dan Radio Patreon, patreon.com/liberaldan or patreon.liberaldan.com. Either way will get you there. And you could support the show on a monthly basis. You could also support the show on a one-time basis by go to my Venmo, or go to liberaldan.com, click on Buy Me a Cider, and you could buy me a cider button. You could click the Buy Me a Cider button, or just go to buymeacoffee.com/liberaldanradio, and you can support the show that way as well. Andrew, no, that was not Wes. That's Khalil. Khalil's called in before. Suzanne, I'm leaving out of Galveston. No, we're leaving out of New Orleans, which is one of the reasons why we've chose to go on like the amount of cruise is because it's so easy. Used to be before my mother-in-law got her surgery that we would just have my mother-in-law bring I would drive the car down with my mother-in-law in it. My mother-in-law would then drive the van back and we would go on the cruise. And then when we came in, my mother-in-law would just come pick me up. So we don't have to worry about Uber or Lyft or a cab or anything. A friend of mine is going to do it this time, but don't have to worry about parking. Don't have to worry about flying anywhere to go on a cruise. That even makes the cruise even more affordable when you don't have to worry about all those other costs. Because I've looked at cruises like out of Miami, cruises out of Port Canaveral, even cruises out of Galveston. I mean, we could drive to Galveston. We still have to pay to park. So the price of the cruise out of Galveston would have to be cheaper to justify the cost of the gas to get to Galveston and back, and the price to actually pay for parking for a week. So, Kimchi's joined us. Hey, Kimchi, thank you for joining us as well. And again, thank you, Andrea, for joining us. Let's see. Jeff Kerr, we have an old caboose in park. People say should need painted because it's faded. It's an old caboose. I say find some of these people that tag cars at night, let them have free reign. Yeah, it'd be great. We went to there's a train yard here that you can actually go to. My son used to love Thomas the Tank Engine. He was obsessed with trains. I don't know if he's still as much into trains. I mean, he still likes the Thomas the Tank Engine every once in a while. I don't know if he's as obsessed into trains as he was before, but I took him on, it was like a Christmas thing, and he had Santa on the train, and you took this giant silver engine, just took it down the line back, and he had a great time with it. It was really fun. Jeff reminds me to buy some curry. Let's see. Robert. Hey, Robert, another Liberal Dan Radio patron. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. We just having a fun show tonight, just talking about some random stuff for maybe about an hour or so, and then I'm going to head on over to Twitch, nerdydan.com on Twitch, and we're going to do some gaming there, because while I may do a stream tomorrow night, I can't settle on a time tomorrow night to have the stream, because there's a Mardi Gras parade that we might be going to. And I say might be going to because of all the days it's going to rain, it might rain tomorrow night. So they could start the parade earlier, they could start the parade later, or they might just not change the time and just ride the parade in the rain, and if it rains, we might not go out at all. Conversely, if it doesn't rain, we might go out to the parade, and then I'll do a stream tomorrow, because I can't do any streaming next week because I'm on the ship. But I just can't necessarily settle on a time where I'm going to be doing it, so we'll just have to play it by ear. And if we don't have a lot of listeners or whatever, Jeff Kerr, yes, we're going to talk about random stuff. And if I don't have a whole bunch of listeners, I'll probably cut it off short, but because I don't want to lower my listenership to a level, I don't want to bring my average down, although I've been doing good, averaging around 4 a stream, and you need 3 a stream to get it done. Much less than Hal, but it is what it is. I'm not even going to push the button. And speaking of Hal, I was trying to get Hal on the show today, but I think he's had computer problems and whatever. But technically, tomorrow is the Haliversary. So tomorrow is the day that I first had Hal on the show. When he first called in. Today is probably the first day. Tomorrow is probably the first day that I've had many of you in the chat. And since that year, Liberal Dan Radio has never been the same. I've had all of y'all awesome people. I've had all y'all awesome people in the chat for the past year. And, it's been wonderful. And so I want to thank all of y'all. Don't stress him out too hard, Andrea. If you can't do it, you can't do it, and we could do it on another day or another month or whatever. He's doing me a solid by coming on the show, honestly. So I don't want to. I'm not. If he doesn't have the time, he doesn't have the time, and that's cool. And I'm very understanding. I'm very thankful for the amount of times he's been on the show. And the next time he comes on, when he's available, will be the next time he comes on, and that's it. So, but yes, Kimchi, everyone share, bring friends, etc. Hey, Cynthia, how's it going? Thank you for joining. Hey, Megan, thank you for joining as well. Wait, Aaron, you said Percy. Is there a reason you said Percy? Is Yoshin in the chat, or you just randomly shouted out Percy just to randomly shout out Percy? I didn't see Yosh come in, but who knows? So I have to end the show and be like, Percy. If you haven't listened to the Percy podcast, if you do listen to the Percy podcast, at the Percy podcast, I think on Twitter is how you can get there. It's on Twitch. I think I have the link on the shows, on the other shows you support. He hasn't done another show yet, so I'm gonna have to get on his ass for doing it. I think he's gun shy because he has a bunch of people who are harassing him a good bit. So I think he wanted to get away from that. But I think he eventually wants to come back. He's had some topics that he's wanted to talk about. So and hopefully him and I might put a little something together. We'll see. I don't know yet. Elizabeth's here. Hey Elizabeth, thank you for joining. One of the things I have a Evie who's been on the show several times. Evie Winters. She has a page on Facebook. She's EvieWinters.com. She's a advocate for trans rights. She is a trans woman herself. Super intelligent, super knowledgeable, super nice. Like just generally a nice person. Loves to make horrible jokes, and so it's probably one of the reasons we get along so well. But you can put your best dad joke in the thing, or give me a beginning of a dad joke in the chat and let me see if I know it or not. Because my son was trying to catch me on some dad jokes, and I absolutely just almost got every single one of them. So, yeah, Demonox has been in my Discord. I think Yosh has been in my Discord too, just not as frequently. Demonox does have a studio ready. He did make his downstairs studio finished. He's eventually, I think, going to get there. He might get to actually producing the next episode of The World According to Nox before Percy gets to the Percy podcast. So, let's see. Stupid answer on Jeopardy the other day. The moist air in these small structures can reach up to 210 degrees. Dude says, "What is an igloo?" What is a sauna? Was that the correct question? The correct answer in a form of a question? There's been some days where I've watched Jeopardy and I was like mad simply because of the fact that I knew I could have demolished the board. I could have demolished that. And there was one time like I was watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and usually on the ladder on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, they have two gotcha questions, two out of left field. And one of them was about Weird Al, and one of them was about something else that I knew, a lot of stuff about. I would have walked away a millionaire after that show. And then, of course, I would have paid taxes on it. I would have no longer been a millionaire. But it is what it is. Anyway, so back to Evie. Evie Winters is very much an advocate of the idea of discussing what is and what is not a grilled cheese sandwich. So I actually put the Jeopardy. I did the online Jeopardy test, but I don't think I did well enough to qualify for it. I don't know. I'd love to be able to get on it, but I think my dad tried too. I don't think he made it either. My dad's really intelligent too. I'll talk about my dad's intelligence, not my dad's other parts, what's his face talked about, thanks to Hal, that we all had to hear about him. Not an expert, but at 210 degrees an igloo is a puddle. Well, yeah, there's the whole song about it in Frozen, right? The winter's a nice thing. The winter's a nice time to stay in and cuddle, but it comes the summer and I'll be a happy snowman. Anyway, Evie has a very strict rule as to what is a grilled cheese and what is not. I'm gonna get back. I have other Jeopardy things to talk about too. While we also interject this subject. What is a grilled cheese and what is not a grilled cheese? What makes a grilled cheese become a melt? So clearly, butter on the bread, or if you want to put mayo, if you're one of those weirdos that does mayo on grilled cheese, it's fine too, whatever. It's okay. I don't hate it. I just like butter more. So butter, regular grilled cheese would be butter, bread, cheese. And then I guess another bread, butter. That would be whatever. And Megan goes, meat makes it a melt, and that's her argument. Her argument is that anything makes it a melt. So if you had a grilled cheese and tomato sandwich, it would stop being a grilled cheese sandwich. It would be a tomato melt. If you had now if you put a hamburger patty in there, absolutely, it's a patty melt. If you put tuna in there, it's a tuna melt. If you put ham in there, it's like a ham melt. But I'm of the argument that toppings don't count. Toppings don't take away from its ability to be called a grilled cheese. So if I had a grilled cheese and tomatoes, if I have a grilled cheese with tomato, it's still a grilled cheese because tomato is a topping. If I had pickles on a grilled cheese sandwich or jalapeno peppers on a grilled cheese sandwich, that would not be a jalapeno pepper melt. That would be a grilled cheese and jalapeno sandwich. And let's see, Cynthia, my daughter uses 2. I use 3. If I'm doing regular old American cheese, I'll do 3 slices of cheese. But yeah. I ordered my wife candy for Valentine's Day, pissed off it arrived 30 minutes ago. You should get that candy half off, because any candy purchased after Valentine's Day should be 50% off anyway, right? Ooh, Suzanne, you gave me a good argument to use with Evie. So use pepper jack cheese. So let's say, if I made a grilled cheese with jack cheese and jalapeno peppers, according to Evie, it would be a melt. But if I used pepper jack cheese, it would be a grilled cheese sandwich still. But here's the kicker with the toppings don't count. To me, bacon is the exception to the meat rule. Bacon is a topping, so therefore bacon is so you can have a grilled. If bacon is in a grilled cheese sandwich, this is a grilled cheese with bacon. It's not a bacon melt. So there you go. That's my opinion on that. People can make, and I've done things like 2 slices of American, 1 slice of Havarti. I've done brie. I've done open faced. A BLT is the exception to that as well, I would say. And I would think in a BLT, it's not, bacon is not, unless you buy it from a particular restaurant that I'm thinking of, and that even restaurant doesn't allow anymore, the bacon's not necessarily a star. All 3 of the toppings just kind of meld together to form the sandwich in and of itself. Now, there's one place that it was like an ultimate BLT, and it had like this much bacon on it. And at that point, yeah, the bacon is the meat of the sandwich. But I'm gonna absolutely put my foot down and say, if it's meat on a melt, if it's meat on a grilled cheese, it becomes a melt. Unless that meat is bacon, then the bacon is a topping, and no toppings make a grilled cheese into anything else other than a grilled cheese. So, kimchi. Well, I'm telling you, this is a fun show. This is just a random topic fun show. I'm gonna having fun with it. That's why. I mean, if something comes up that's important, fine. But I was kind of hoping just to be a for the lulz, for the laughs type of show. So grilled onions, garlic, and spice put in between the cheese before grilled. Fair enough. See, usually what I'll do is I'll put like a slice and a half of cheese on each side of the bread, and then grill them open faced, and then put them together at the end if I wanted to put in like a tomato or already cooked bacon, because you don't need to overcook the bacon. I don't want the tomato to get all hot. I want the tomato to remain at decent temperature whilst the cheese is nice and melty. So a fun show now, and then in about 45 minutes or so, we'll hop over to Twitch and we'll continue the fun show there if anybody who wants to join. The DOJ should grill Orange Jesus. Unfortunately, the DOJ is not grilling anybody. Matt Gaetz freaking not being charged with sex trafficking despite having allegedly been with a 17-year-old girl across state lines, paid for her to cross, and also friends with a sex trafficker. Sorry, we're talking about fun stuff today. So, yeah, Gouda is actually... My cheese preference with Gouda is I'm not huge. I don't necessarily like smoked Gouda or like regular Gouda, but once you get an aged Gouda, at least 6 months, you start getting those little crystal things in there. I love those. So, kimchi. However, if you use a tortilla, it becomes a quesadilla. I'm not going to fight you on that. I agree with that. If it's two pieces of tortilla with cheese between it, it's not a grilled cheese anymore. It's a tortilla. Which, let's see, Egg Off Twitler. Hey, Egg Off Twitler. Child sex trafficking is effed up. If flying a 17-year-old from a state where consent is 18 to a state of age of consent, which is 16. Oh, Jack Smith subpoenaed Mark Meadows. Nice. Yeah, I mean, there comes a point where there are federal issues and state issues. So, like the 17-year-old girl in a state where age of consent is 16. Yeah, it's not a crime in the state, but it's still a crime to have them cross state lines. It may very well have been a crime in the state to communicate those things with her. Lots of stuff that you go on. I don't know too much about it. I just know that, for all the people that like to talk about Pizzagate, Pizzagates, definitely sure does a lot of stuff. Suzanne, feta cheese on a salad, feta cheese on everything, feta cheese on a burger, feta cheese on fries, feta cheese on everything. There's also, let's see, you mentioned tacos. There's also the argument of if something is classified as a taco, a taco, a calzone, a sandwich, a bread bowl, or stuff like that. Like, is a hot dog a taco or a sandwich? Depends on whether or not you're loosely calling something. If you're loosely calling anything with an open face a sandwich, do you have to have 2 pieces of bread for a sandwich, or can you have an open face sandwich? Is a hot dog a taco? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is it both? Is a burrito? What is a burrito? If a burrito is closed off, does that make it a quesadilla? Does that make it a quesadilla, or does that make it a calzone? Are raviolis calzones? Some people say ravioli is a calzone. Is Pop-Tarts a calzone? That was a weird discussion that we had as well. So, see, there are a few cheeses I don't absolutely adore. Cheese is life. I'm not a fan of most blue. Like, blue cheese, it's not, I'm not keen on it. My wife loves blue cheese, so whenever we get, like, a charcuterie with cheese on it or whatever, she gets all the blue cheese. There's only one blue cheese that I've ever had that didn't make me go, and it was at Disney's The Yachtsman restaurant in the yacht club hotel or whatever. And it wasn't great. It didn't make me go, this is delicious, but it also didn't make me go, so. Let's see. Tuna taco can mean a few different things. Depends on if your mind is in it. My mind is always in the gutter, Jeff. Let's see. Agnes Gary, I'll call it whatever you want. I'm hungry, and if someone else made it, I'll eat it. Sure, that's also a good point. That's why I'm fat. Come on now, Dan. This is some PhD in sandwich making type discussion. Absolutely. Wes is here. Hello, Wes. Thank you for joining. Put a grilled hot dog on top of each half and open-faced grilled cheese and add salsa. Just mess with all the people's minds. I'll have to look up the link or the page or whatever. The what is, guide to what is a sandwich or something. I have to find the link. Is the calzone a sandwich? There we go. We'll look up that as well. Blue cheese is for wings and celery, and that's it. See, even blue cheese, even for wings, I'd rather ranch than blue cheese with my wings, and extra ranch at that. I'm one of those people. But I don't want celery. I don't care for celery at all. The only reason that celery exists is to put in a trinity to make a gumbo. And if there's a way to make gumbo without celery, I would probably want to do that as well. So, like, even as a delivery system for peanut butter, I'd rather an apple. And who am I hiding from trolls? Should we invite Stuttering John? I would love to have Stuttering John on my show. That would be cool too. If anybody could look that up, that would be awesome as well. This isn't the link that I was looking for. These are not the links you're looking for. Did I say hello to TV2 Live? Hello, TV2. Remember to go follow their channel as well. Anyone have an opinion on Gorgonzola? Gorgonzola is just fancy blue cheese, so no. I still wouldn't like that. My daughter went through a phase where she put ranch dressing on everything. Was she one of those ones that put ranch dressing on pizza? Why Why is everybody gasping at Aaron? Oh, just because she said ew blue cheese? I mean, I agree with Aaron on that. Ew blue cheese. It's not my cup of tea. So... Oh, so if you say Stuttering John more than twice, you get Stern trolls coming out of the woodworks. It's like Beetlejuice, a reverse Beetlejuice. Let's see, Jeff Curry. I put A1 on almost anything. A1, I like A1. I like A1 in burgers. I don't usually have it with my steaks because I usually rather a horseradish type sauce, like a horseradish, take a bunch of horseradish, maybe a tablespoon of mayo, a teaspoon of sour cream, mix that all together, make a nice little horseradish sauce for my steak. That's delicious. Also, wait, Kimchi John is a narcissist and misogynist? Really? That's the first I've heard of that. You have to give me details, I suppose. Anyway, so then the other day for Valentine's Day, I knocked these ribeyes out the park. We got some ribeyes for Valentine's Day, and I just cooked them up yesterday. Whew. And I made myself a béarnaise sauce, a little Dijon mustard, butter, egg yolks, a little salt. Mwah. Everything was just delicious yesterday. So, see, I didn't know that Hawaiian pizza originated in Canada until Jimmy Kimmel last night. I think I also knew that as well. Yeah, this is a troll-free zone, hopefully at least. Trolls get yeeted. So, back to the Jeopardy question. I'd watch Jeopardy a bunch, like in my previous relationship, I'd watch it or whatever, and it'd be on TV. And like I was like, there was some times where like I would realize like there are some times with Jeopardy like you could just guess the answer or guess the question, I guess, because the answer has enough clues where you could make an educated guess. But there was one time I was watching, it was at Final Jeopardy, and I'm sitting in the bedroom, my girlfriend at the time is there, and the question was like, this producer has had #1 hits in each of the last 5 decades or whatever. And I was like, who is Irving Berlin? And my girlfriend at the time was like, who the hell is Irving Berlin? And I'm like, really? You don't know who Irving Berlin is? I need to educate you maybe a little bit on that. And all of a sudden, you hear the end of the doot, 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 and the question came out, and the person won, and it was like, who is Irving Berlin? That is correct. And I was just like, this is before I think mic drop was the thing, but if mic drop was the thing at the time, I would have went and found a mic just to drop it, just because of the fact that I was like, haha, there. So I was like, boom, yeehaw, I got it. So, so no, that's something. There's, of course, there are days on Jeopardy where I'm just like watching, I'm like, what? I don't even know that. I don't know that. I don't know that either. I don't know that either. So we also had what else? I was going to bring something else. That was an interesting relationship. There was a couple times where like she didn't think I was making any much sense, but in reality I was absolutely correct. Like, for example, one time she was like, I don't understand why men are just so obsessed with breasts, with boobs. Why are y'all so... And it just so happened I had watched a show about, human sexual attraction and why breasts, like the cleavage, in and of itself, cleavage makes you, turned on. And, basically the short 30,000 view of it is simply... people with ample bosoms, so to speak, make your subconscious mind think that person might be a very good, healthy person for a potential mother to your children. And as for your breeding, your desire to breed is kicked in, and that's what drives your attraction. And she was like, so you're telling me you see a girl with big boobs and you're like, I want to have her babies? Or you want to have babies? I was like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I actively think that. I was like, I didn't look at you and like, oh, you have big boobs. Let's have kids. No, but the subconscious was like, ooh, potential mate. And the funny thing was she was a psych major and she didn't know that. And I was like, are you kidding me? You don't understand this? And of course, then one day we're sitting there watching I don't know where we were. We weren't home, but we were watching some show on TV wherever we were. And I turned on the human sexuality, and it was a different show, and I was just talking about human sexuality, and I was like, I hope they talk about it. I hope they talk about it. And they did. They talked about it, and I was like, see, that's what I said. She was like, that's just stupid. I'm like, okay, well, you can disagree with the experts all you want. Megan, who doesn't love boobs? Of course, you know. But she was just wondering what's the science behind it, I guess. Why are we obsessed with it? I could have answered that question, Bill. Yeah, what's the state snack of West Virginia? A pepperoni roll. Evie Winters, who I discussed earlier with the grilled cheese stuff, she is also initially from West Virginia, and she is obsessed with pepperoni rolls. So that's definitely interesting. That you brought that up. What's the other thing? Oh, again, please remember, put some dad jokes. Try and put some, like, the beginning of some dad jokes in the chat. Therefore, so I can, whatchamacallit, I lost my, whatchamacallit, I lost my live screen, so I can't see the chat at the moment. But put some like, beginning of dad jokes in the chat, see if you can fool me. We're talking about all sorts of things. We're talking about boobs, talking about psychology. The other thing is we were, I was waiting tables when I was dating her. And one of the wait staff, I should say, one of the servers, was talking about how they used to smoke, and the doctor said that they couldn't stop smoking or else it would stop the pregnancy, and so that person had to continue smoking for the duration of the pregnancy because they didn't want it to be a shock to the system. And my ex was like, that's ridiculous. No doctor is ever going to tell their patient to stop smoking because smoking is harmful for the child. No person is ever going to say that. Several years later, her sister-in-law was pregnant, and her sister-in-law was an avid smoker, and her sister-in-law's doctor said, you can't stop smoking or your pregnancy will terminate. And I was like, trust your boyfriend. But because she didn't trust her boyfriend is the reason why we're no longer together. Anywho. Jeff Curry, I'm just starting to get the whole dad joke thing. Jeff, do you know when a joke becomes a dad joke? See if Jeff can answer it. Nobody else answer that one. When does a joke become a dad joke? Well, let's see if Jeff can answer that one, and then I'll give the answer if he doesn't know. Oh, okay, there we go. A joke becomes a dad joke when it becomes apparent. Wah, wah. Anyway, so what's up, Easy E? How's it going? Smoking causes low birth weight. And yes, it can. I think she did have a lower birth weight than other people, but if there would have been no birth weight had she stopped smoking, because the system would have been shocked and the pregnancy would have terminated, would have aborted. So there you go. And yes, I did dodge a bullet. I managed to do much better with my current wife. Yes, my current wife, my only wife. So something else I wanted to bring up, and I lost my train of thought. I don't think it was about my ex. I think that was the two ex stories. Well, there's another ex story as to why she even started dating me in the first place, but it's not an appropriate subject for the for the Liberal Dan Radio. At least not while I'm sober. Maybe I have to do a drunk Liberal Dan Radio where we do the sex with Liberal Dan and we discuss stuff like that. Anyway, let's see, other dad jokes. Well, one time when I was doing Uber driving, we we had a cattleman convention in town, or beef industry convention, or something relating to cows. So I was asking every passenger who was part of that convention. I was like, "Hey, what's your favorite cow joke?" So I'd be like, let's see. So they'd be like, "What do you call a cow with 2 legs?" Lean beef. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. And so I was like, "Oh, those are good." So I got some new jokes in my repertoire. Yes, Megan, I like that joke. It's the pirate's favorite letter. You think it's R, but it's the C. A pirate's first love is the sea. The pirates up on the deck, and one of his sailors comes up to, and the pirate has like this belt buckle, but it's shaped like a wheel of a ship. And the guy's like, "Why do you have a wheel the ship as your belt buckle?" And he's like, "Arg, it's driving me nuts." So, anywho. My son's band put out a video. I posted a comment. He said that was a dad joke. Okay. I must have missed something. What else? There's, of course, the joke from Game of Thrones. If, this guy, pirate, is sailing the 7 seas or whatever, and all of a sudden, one enemy ship shows up on the horizon, and he tells his assistant or whatever, "Go get my red shirt." And goes, gets his red shirt. They go to battle. They win. A couple days later, 2 enemy ships come around and tells us, "Go get my red shirt." So he goes, gets the red shirt, puts the red shirt on. They win the battle. And after the battle's over, the guy's like, why do you keep asking for the red shirt? He's like, "Oh, well, if I happen to get stabbed in the middle of battle from wearing my red shirt, none of my crew will see me bleeding." "Oh, that's smart." So the next day, a couple days later, 4 ships come on the horizon. And the aide comes up and he's like, "Do you want me to get your red shirt?" And he goes, "No, get my brown pants." So, yes, heard of masturbating cattle, beef stroganoff. Yes. Let's see, what else? What other... Wes, I'm stoned. Everybody must get stoned. Sorry. Bad Bob Dylan impression. Priest, a rabbit, and an atheist walk into a bar. Bartender looks at the rabbit, says, "What do you have?" Rabbit says, "I have no idea. I'm only here because of autocorrect." Nice. That's good. That's a good one. So, of course, the science jokes. When Neutrino goes into a bar, bartender says, "What do you have? Do you want anything?" He's like, "No, I'm just passing through." A photon tries to board an airplane. The stewardess says, "You have any luggage?" And the photon says, "No, I'm traveling light." There's another. I'm being that I was raised Jewish, I have plenty of Jewish jokes. Priest, a minister, and a rabbi come across a bag of like $10 million, and they have no idea what to do with this money. There's no markings on it. Doesn't belong to anybody, and so the priest goes, "Okay, we're going to draw a circle on the ground. Let's take the money. We'll throw it all up in the air. Whatever falls onto the inside belongs to God. Whatever falls on the outside, we'll take for us." And the minister says, "Okay, I'll have a similar idea. We'll draw a circle on the ground. We'll throw the money up in the air. Whatever falls outside goes to God. Whatever falls inside, we'll keep. Well, it comes to us." And the rabbi says, "I have an even better idea. We'll throw all the money up in the air. Whatever God wants, he'll keep." So, let's see. Schrodinger's cat walks into a bar and it doesn't. Nice. I like the one. Well, I think it was a Budweiser commercial, and it was like in a bar, and they had all of these jokes in the bar. So you had a grasshopper sitting at the bar, drinking, I think, a grasshopper. You had all sorts of other jokes. You had a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead sitting at the bar. And then you had a horse that comes into the bar, and the blonde goes, "I don't get it." So, yes, I love the "Afraid Not" one. Yes. Does anybody know why the pervert crossed the road? Why did the pervert cross the road? Waiting on Jeff's answer. Because there's a bit of delay between when I read what Jeff types and what Jeff hears when I respond. There's a long series of jokes. It's like, okay, so you start off, you have a airplane filled with 5,001 bricks. One brick falls out. How many bricks are left in the airplane? Jeff, I saw that one, yeah. So, of course, the answer is 5,000. And then I go, okay, well, you have, how do you fit a giraffe in a refrigerator? So the person's like, well, I don't know. Okay, well, you take the giraffe, you open the refrigerator door, you put the giraffe in, you close the refrigerator. Okay. How do you put an elephant in a refrigerator? I don't know. Well, you open the door, you take the giraffe out, you put the elephant in, you close the refrigerator. Okay. So you have the king of the lion, king of the jungle, is having a party for all the animals, invites all the animals in the kingdom to come to this celebration. All of them but one show up. Who didn't show up? Well, the elephant, because they're still in the refrigerator. Sally is crossing a river, an alligator-infested waters, an alligator-infested river. But she manages to walk across completely without dying. How did that happen? Well, the alligators are at the party. But Sally still died anyway. How did she die? Brick fell on her head from the airplane. Let's see. Don't sell lassos, don't sell nooses. What? Oh no, I don't get that comment. So, anywho, what other good jokes? I have terrible jokes, like horrible, bad. You should never tell these jokes. I probably don't want to get myself kicked off of YouTube, so I won't say it. Yeah, it's the great thing about that joke because it's one giant callback to the other. It's one of the reasons when Hal was on the show, like the first time he was on the show, one of the things I was very excited about is because I thought of a joke, or thought of a comment to make because people at the time, were still referring to people as the unvaccinated instead of the non-vaccinated. Those who are not vaccinated, they called them the unvaccinated. And so I said, why do we call them the unvaccinated? Shouldn't we call them the non-vaccinated? Because we didn't give them the vaccine and then take it away. And because that was a callback to one of his stand-up special bits where he is talking about the South and sweet tea and how, you should only drink sweet tea. But somebody asked the waitress or whatever for an unsweetened tea. And he's like, well, how do you do that? Do you put the sugar in the tea and then take the sugar right out? That would be an unsweetened tea. What you're looking for is a non-sweetened tea. So, yeah, Jeff, did you all know elephants hide in cherry trees? No, works doesn't. Ever seen an elephant in a cherry tree? Yep. Let's see what else. There's something else I wanted to talk about, and I kind of lost my train of thought. Maybe with all of the hilarity of the jokes or whatever. Scroll back up and see if I've missed anything. Desweetened, yeah. Well, I guess his opinion was unsweetened and desweetened would sound like the same thing. Although I guess on, because like if you're invited to a party, and then if you were not invited to a party, you're not uninvited, you're just not invited. If you got invited to a party and then got disinvited to the party, you would be uninvited. So that's kind of where that comes from, I suppose. But you know, I was glad that I got him to chuckle on that one. I think I made him laugh more with my whatchamacallit, Liberal Dance Chopper City bit. I don't know if it was the wire hanger ones or the other one, but he kind of joked at that one. He kind of laughed at that one, which was like, I made House Sparks laugh, yay! So again, for those of you who joined late, this is just doing a kind of a fun show, maybe for another 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to hop on over to twitch.tv/nerdydan.com, and I'm going to do some gaming on top of that, simply because of the fact that I want to get in some extra streams from that before I go ahead and go off on my cruise on Monday. So don't rob me, because I'm telling you I'm on a cruise. Although there will be people in the house, so my mother-in-law is staying here, so but people taking care of her will be here as well. So we're not going to leave her completely high and dry. So let's see. I got a lady hard on for Jack Smith. I never even seen or heard him in action. Who is Jack Smith? Let's see. See if I can search for Jack Smith. Is this because of the whole indictment of Meadows or whatever? The special counsel? He kind of looks like Jack Smith kind of looks like the guy from Ted Lasso. At least that's the picture that I'm seeing in this thing. The picture that I'm seeing in this, see, that guy's clean shaven though. So this guy's not clean shaven. Let's see if I can find an image of what I'm looking for. So let's see. No, hold on. That's not a good one. So it's more like this one. So let's pop that one up on my here. Window. Settings. Not that one. Not that. Yeah, yes, that one. Although that's just, let's move that out the way. So, okay. And then we're going to see where that window is located. There we go. Okay, so this guy right here, oh, no, you don't want to see that. That's going to be like infinitely. So, let's see, what Ted Lasso, what's the guy's name? Not him. Him. Where is he? That guy. Ted Lasso, assistant coach. Let's see. Assistant coach, actor. Brendan Hunt. So, what do you think? Does he look like come on him? Is that enough of a similarity? Yes or no? You let me know in the chat. Let's see. Blind man is at a beach. Nudist Conley. How can you tell? Coach Beard, yes. He was on Celebrity Jeopardy. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, that'll definitely be something that we'll probably talk about in 2 weeks when it comes to Jack Smith and everything. I just looked at him all of a sudden. I was like, hey, he looks like him. So see, Suzanne, I think I can improve. I think I can improve on your joke a little bit. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but so the question would be, how can you tell if a blind man's at a nudist beach? Answer: it's not hard. That should be the punchline. Not no hard on, but just say it's not hard. That way, it's the double entendre. That's okay, Suzanne. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's not a bad joke. I just think there was an improvement for it. So so next time you tell the joke, it's an improvement. Oh, we have a caller on the line. Who might this be? Caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, Danny, how you doing?
Oh, it's Wes. How's it going, Wes? How are you today?
Good. Good. I just wanted to give you your happy ending.
Okay. Well,
are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. I am happy. You are happy. Let us be happy together, whether the weather is cloudy or sunny. I will always be your fun honey bunny. I am lucky. You are lucky. Let us get lucky together, whether the weather is cloudy or breezy. I'll be there to say, hey, come on, let's take it easy. 'Cause isn't it nice to have the friends that you do? And isn't it nice to see the sky is so blue? And isn't it nice to say, I love you fucking people so much? Chugga chugga choo choo. Woo woo! I am smiling. You are smiling. Let us smile together, whether the weather is cloudy or stormy. I will still be there in the morning. I'll be right by your side in the morning. I'll make you breakfast in the morning, as long as you like Captain Crunch.
Very nice, Wes. Every applause for Wes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. You know it already. I'll let you end it, buddy.
Cool. Thank you so much, Wes. All right, have a good one.
Yep.
Let's go ahead. I might go a little bit over an hour, but I have a very, as I said in chat, I have a very, very, very long joke. It's the Great White Hunter. So there was one time you had this guy, he was known as the Great White Hunter. He hunted all the great white animals across the land. He had a great white mansion where the Great White Hunter, great white mansion where the Great White Hunter lived, and in each room in the Great White Mansion, he had each one of its great white animals that he hunted and killed throughout the years. Little old man comes in one day and he goes, "Oh, you're not so great. You haven't killed the great white elephant." The great white elephant? Yes, the great white elephant. Well, where can I find the great white elephant? In deepest, darkest Africa. So he takes the great white limousine to the great white airport, zoom across the ocean to deepest, darkest Africa, where he meets Tarzan. He says, "Hi." Tarzan says, "Ugh." Tarzan is painting white stripes on black zebras and white stripes on black zebras and black stripes on white zebras and black and white stripes on invisible zebras, which are especially hard to find in deepest, darkest Africa. So he goes, "Tarzan, do you know where to find the great white elephant?" He goes, "Sure, yeah." So you go straight and you hang a right. When you come back, you go straight and hang a left, because when you went straight and hung a right. So he gets in the great white Jeep, goes straight, hangs right, sees the great white elephant, boom, shoots him, and comes back, goes straight and hangs a left, because when he went straight and hung a right. And he sees Tarzan. He says, "Hi." Tarzan says, "Ugh." Tarzan is still painting white stripes on black zebras, black stripes on white zebras, and black on white stripes on invisible zebras, which are especially hard to find in deepest, darkest Africa. He takes the great white elephant across the ocean, zoom, in a great white airplane, takes the great white goes to the great white airport, takes the great white limo back to the great white mansion, has to clear out a whole room for the great white elephant, and more people are coming to visit him, and everybody's saying how wonderful he is, but a little old man comes in one day and he goes, "You're not so great. You haven't killed the great white rhino." He goes, "The great white rhino?" "Great white rhino, yeah. Where do I find the great white rhino?" "In deepest, darkest Africa." So he takes the great white limo to the great white airport, takes the great white airplane, zoom across the ocean, to deepest, darkest Africa, where he sees Tarzan. He says hi. Tarzan says ugh. Tarzan is still painting white stripes on black zebras and black stripes on white zebras and black and white stripes on invisible zebras, which are especially hard to find in deepest, darkest Africa. So, says Tarzan, how do I find the great white rhino? He goes, well, the great white rhino, you just have to go straight and hang a left. When you come back, you go straight and hang a right, because when you went straight and hung a left. He goes, okay, so he goes, go straight and hangs a left, sees the great white rhino, shoots him, bang, puts him in the back of the great white Jeep, goes straight and hangs a right, because when he went straight and hung a left. He sees Tarzan. He says hi. Tarzan says ugh. Tarzan's still painting white stripes on black zebras, black stripes on white zebras, and black and white stripes on invisible zebras, which are especially hard to find in deepest, darkest Africa. So he takes the great white airplane, zoom across the ocean to the great white airport, takes the great white limo back to the great white mansion, has to build a whole new wing onto the great white mansion because it's just so big. So he goes, okay, everyone, even more people are coming in and, admiring the great white rhino. Little old man comes in again, and he goes, oh, you're not so great. You haven't killed the great white python. It was the great white python. He goes, yes, the great white python. Where do I find the great white python? In deepest, darkest Africa. So he takes the great white limo to the great white seaport, has to take the great white aircraft carrier across the ocean, zoom, because it's so big, goes to deepest, darkest Africa, where he meets Tarzan. He says hi. Tarzan says ugh. Tarzan's still painting white stripes on black zebras and black stripes on white zebras and black and white stripes on invisible zebras, which are especially hard to find in deepest, darkest Africa. Says Tarzan, where do I find the great white python? As well, you go straight and you hang straight. When you come back, you go straight and hang straight, because when you went straight and hung straight. So he goes straight, hangs straight, sees the great white python, shoots him, bang, puts him in the back of the great white semi, again, because it's so big, goes straight and hangs straight, because when he went straight and hung straight. Where he sees Tarzan, he says hi. Tarzan says ugh. Tarzan still painting white stripes on black zebras, black stripes on white zebras, and black and white stripes on invisible zebras, which are especially hard to find in deepest, darkest Africa. Takes the great white aircraft carrier, zooms across the ocean to the great white seaport, takes the great white semi back to the great white mansion, has to build a whole new mansion just to fit the great white python. Even more people are coming in, and a little old man comes in one day and goes, okay, you are the greatest hunter in the world. Everyone cheers. The president throws a ticker tape parade for him down the streets of New York City. Confetti is flying everywhere. Everyone's cheering or playing music. And the great white hunter is waving at everybody. And all of a sudden, they're passing the Empire State Building. And he looks way up to the tippy top. And he sees Tarzan. He goes, hi, 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 hi. Tarzan says, ugh, 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 ugh. Tarzan still painting white stripes on black zebras, black stripes on white zebras, and black and white stripes on invisible zebras, which are especially super hard to find in deepest downtown New York City. And he looks up and he goes, Tarzan, why are you always painting white stripes on black zebras and black stripes on white zebras and black and white stripes on invisible zebras, which are especially hard to find in deepest downtown New York City? And Tarzan says, didn't you know? Tarzan stripes forever. And that's the end of this week's episode of Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, That's Right. Again, we will be back in 2 weeks because I'll be going on my cruise. March 1st will be the next episode of Liberal Dan Radio. If you want to join, if you still want to hang with me though, twitch.tv/nerdydan.com. Jolie, go ahead, put the link in the chat if you can. It will take me a couple minutes to change my OBS studio to point to Twitch. Got to change some of my setup here. About 5 minutes after the Nimbus music ends, actually the next set of music will come in, and we'll head on over and we can hang out on Twitch as well. Sometime tomorrow I'll also do a Twitch stream, but I can't guarantee what it is because I'm running on grades. So until the next time I see you, hopefully on Twitch in about 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so. Until then, maybe 2 weeks, who knows? Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left. That's right.